My Aunt Allison is a kindergarten teacher in Macon, Georgia, at a Christian school, and a couple of weeks ago she texted me, as she often does, and said, "We had the funniest discussion this week in the teacher's lounge on how old Jesus was when the wise men showed up. What do you think, preacher?" I really don't know. 12 days, 2 years, maybe never. Maybe it's just a good story, but I believe it. Last week I got to go to Germany and we visited Cologne Cathedral, Germany's most visited landmark, the tallest twin-spired church in the world. Construction started in 1248, stopped in 1473, unfinished. It had 2 towers and the other end of it, but nothing in between. They finally started back some 400 years later and built it up to the medieval plan. The original plan was to build a grand structure to house the reliquary of the 3 kings and fit as its role a place of worship for the Holy Roman Emperor. The cathedral suffered hits by aerial bombs during World War II, badly damaged, but they had saved all the stained glass windows, and it's a beautiful place. It has been restored completely. The most celebrated work of art in the cathedral is the Shrine of the 3 Kings, commissioned, here's what you're getting your money's worth for this morning, commissioned by Philip von Heisenberg, Archbishop of Cologne in the late 1100s. It is traditionally believed to hold the remains of the 3 wise men, whose relics were acquired by Frederick Barbarossa at the conquest of Milan in 1164. Acquired. The shrine takes the form of a large reliquary in the shape of a basilica church. It's bronze and silver and as gold as anything you have ever seen, trust me. Gilded, enamels, gemstones. They actually opened the thing up in 1864, and it was found to contain bits of bone and garments. Right. Are they really the bones of the 3 wise men? Sure. Are they the bones of 3 really rich guys? I don't know, but I believe it. Great preacher Barbara Brown Taylor thinks it is not that the facts don't matter. It is just that they don't matter as much as the stories do. And stories can be true whether they happen or not. You do not have to do archaeology, she says, to find out if they are genuine or spend years in the library combing ancient texts or Dead Sea Scrolls. There is another way home. You just listen to the story. You let it come to life inside you. And then you decide on the basis of your own tears or laughter whether the story is true. If you're in doubt, it is always a good idea to watch other people who have listened to the story. Just pay attention to how the story affects them over time. Does it make them more or less human? Does it open them up, or does the story shut them down? Does it increase their capacity for joy? Casper, Melchior, Balthazar, I do believe they were starving for something. They didn't know what, but they followed their heart. And then they got lost and they stopped to ask for help. Something didn't add up. They kept asking, and then they followed this star, their passion, their desire for the holy. And then all of a sudden, in the place they least expected it, they found Jesus. They were overwhelmed. They were completely overdressed and underprepared. They couldn't figure out what the heck to do with their all and wonder, much less their camels, so they fell to their knees and worshipped this babe lying in a manger. And then, because their mamas and daddies raised them right, you always bring a housewarming present, but they weren't used to traveling with baby wipes and stuffed animals, so they opened their treasure chest and out popped gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And they made a really good song and 3 more fancy figurines for the nativity set in the kingdom. I don't know. Maybe that's the way it happened. Maybe not. But I believe it. And it increases my capacity for joy. Just as much as I believe each of your stories, you are here to worship. Something in your life is missing, is not right, is broken, is hurting, is sorrowful, is in need of healing. At some point, you asked for help and someone guided you to church, to this place, to Sunday school, and the story of Jesus and his love for you and the whole world. And your gut said, well, something might be in this place, in this community, in this day. I better go and see. And lo and behold, you found something. Jesus. You're not always able to put words to it, but you know where it is, and your lives show it. And by the grace of God, you keep coming back. I believe it because it is my story too. And once you have seen it and felt it, that awesome power of the living God in a very unexpected place, present in animals, in a stable, with a teenage mother and a construction worker fiance who didn't plan ahead very well and ended up laying his new unexpected child in a feeding trough. Well, once you have seen and felt that, there's nothing else you can do but open up your heart and your treasure chest and offer whatever you have. And I believe that too because I've seen the gifts you have to offer in this community and in the lives you lead outside this place. Your generosity, your creativity, your cooking, your sewing, your sweat, your financial acumen, your singing, your playing. And it all increases capacity for joy. And all I can do is kneel down and pay you homage and God homage and sing grateful songs to that God who is at work in the least expected places and people, even in a little old church on Europe Road full of pain and joy and songs of challenge and triumph and hope. After you've heard that story, you have to believe it in your gut. And that story has changed my life and continues to every time I meet you in this place and meet God in our midst. And that transforms my life. And when I'm at my very best, when I show up fully, when I am rested and not hungry, when I listen in prayer and quiet, God tells me something. Sometimes God says, sit back and listen. Sometimes God says, get up and get back to work. You're doing just fine. But sometimes there is another instinct. It makes my ears get red and my heart starts to beat faster. My stomach gets a little bit queasy. Something is not right. Something is rotten. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to say something. If you go back home the same way you came, this child, this Jesus, this God of love, come among you is going to be taken away. You have got to go home a different way. And so they did, those wise ones. They listened to that inner guiding star and they did something. And that horrible Herod did something too in those next few verses, which we conveniently skip over. He had all the boys under 2 wiped away from the world, and we still weep and hear the wailing. But Jesus and Mary and Joseph, those figures in that gorgeous window up there, their lives were saved as they fled into exile in Egypt. The wise men gave them time to get away and save their lives. Fantastic story. I don't know if that's the way it happened or not, but I believe it. And I believe that if you and I follow our inner star and meet Jesus, that we too will be changed and saved forever. And I also believe that if we feel our ears get red and our hearts start to beat faster, if we muster up the courage to follow our inner star and go home by a different way, we have the power to save other lives too. This I believe. Amen.